Welcome to this lecture series in Chemical Reaction Engineering 1. We will continue with problem solving from the exercise of chapter number 2. 2.12. The maximum allowable temperature for the reaction is 800 Kelvin. At present, our operating set point is 780 Kelvin and 20 Kelvin margin of safety to account for fluctuating fields, sluggish controls, etc. Now, with more sophisticated control system, we will be able to raise the set point to 792. So only 8-degree margin of safety we will have. By how much can the reaction rate, hence the production rate, be raised by this change? If the reaction taking place in the reactor has an activation energy of 175 kilojoule per mole. So initially maximum allowable temperature is 800, keeping margin of separate safety. We are carrying out the reaction at 780. Now with sophisticated control systems, we have raised the set point to 792. And how much will be the rate? And hence the production rate raised by this change that we have to calculate. So K at 792 and K at 780, we write the equation. So taking ratio K at 792 by K at 780 is equal to exponential minus 175,000. So 175 kilojoule per mole, 175,000 joule per mole. This is R value 8.314. 1 by 792 minus 1 by 780, and this comes out to be 1.505. So the reaction will be now at 792, which is faster 1.505 times than at 780 Kelvin. Next, 2.13. Every May 22, I plant a watermelon seed, water it and pray and watch my plants to grow, and finally the day comes when watermelons ripen. I then harvest and feast. Some years are sad when I cannot get the proper production of watermelons. Anyway, 6 summers were a pure joy. For this I have tabulated number of growing days versus mean daytime temperature during the growing season. Does the temperature affect the growth rate? If so, what activation energy it represents? So years 76, 77, 82, 84, 85, 88. Growing days are varying 87, 85, 74, 78, 90, 84. So variation is from least growing days 74, highest is 90. And mean temperatures are also given for this. So there is relationship between this temperature, say 26.3 at highest temperature, this growing days is less, then temperature is 21.1, this is 90. We want to determine this growth rate and what it represents, what activation energy that we have to find out. So this is the data, year, growing days, temperature in degrees Celsius, all these are tabulated, converted to Kelvin. Then we want 1 by T for Arrhenius plot. Rate. So these are number of growing days. So rate will be per day, some rate. So per day. Invert this number of growing days, and this is ln of rate. So we plot ln of rate on y axis, 1 by T on x axis, and this base fit line gives me y is equal to mx plus c form. So m, slope represents negative slope and magnitude represents E by R. So E by R is 3392. So E is equal to 8.314 multiplied by 3392. That comes out to be 28,201 joule per mole, and that is nothing but 28.2 kilojoule per mole. This is the activation energy for this watermelon cultivation. Next, On typical summer days, 2.14, field crickets nibble, jump and chirp now and then, but at night, when the great numbers congregate, chirping seems to become a serious business and tends to be in unison. In 1897, A. E. Dolbear reported that this social chirping rate, so crickets are insects and their chirping rate dependent on the temperature, and it is given by number of chirps per 15 second plus 40 is equal to temperature in Fahrenheit. So depending on the temperature in Fahrenheit, this is correlated after many observations. Assuming that the chirping rate is a direct measure of metabolic rate, and we have to find the activation energy in kilojoule per mole of these crickets, these insects, in the range at 60 to 80 degree Fahrenheit. So between 60 to 80, I am taking these points: 60, 65, 70, 75, 80. In Fahrenheit, convert it to Celsius, convert it to Kelvin. So this is the data in Kelvin. Number of chirps in 15 seconds is 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. So per second, rate per second. So this divided by 15. Chirps in 15 seconds divided by 15. So this gives me the rate, which is equivalent term of K. So ln of K or ln of rate, and this is 1 by T. So you plot ln of K on y-axis, 1 by T on x-axis, get the best fit line. Equation representing the best fit line is in y is equal to mx plus c form. So this c gives me ln of K. So K is exponential value of this c, but it is not asked, so will not report. Magnitude of the slope is represented E by R, and that is equal to 5374. E by R is 5374, multiply by 8.314, we get 44,600 joules per mole, and that is nothing but 44.68 kilojoules per mole. So this is the activation energy of these crickets, and it is a direct measure of metabolic rate. 2.15, on doubling the concentration of the reactant, rate of reaction triples, becomes 3 times. Find the reaction order. For the stoichiometry, A plus B giving you products. Find the reaction orders with respect to A and B. So rate minus Ra1 is equal to Kca1 raised to n, minus Ra2 is Kca2 raised to n. Minus Ra2 is 3 times minus Ra1. So rate of reaction triples on doubling the concentration. So this concentration Ca2 is double that of Ca1, 2 times Ca1. Kk cancels out, Ca1 raised to n, Ca1 raised to n will cancels out, and this is 2 raised to n is equal to 3. So if you take log of both the sides and solve for n, I get n as 1.585. 2.16. The data is given for concentration of A, concentration of B, and rate of disappearance of A. So if we want to find out the rate law, we assume the rate law of the form minus R is equal to K, Ca raised to A and Cb raised to B. So you have K, Ca, Cb, 3 unknowns, and I can have 3 data points, so I can write 3 equations and 3 unknowns, so I can find out this. So I write minus Ra for this point, 2 is equal to K into Ca raised to A, 4 raised to A, Cb raised to B means 1 raised to B. Similarly for second one, 1 is equal to K, Ca raised to A means 1 raised to A, 1 raised to B. This is 4. 4 is equal to K into 1 raised to A, 8 raised to B. Now I will take the ratio of 1 and 2. 4 by 2 is equal to this 1 raised to b, 1 raised to b and k cancels out. You get simply 4 raised to a and that is equal to 2. So this will give you a is equal to half or 0.5. Then equation 3 by 2, 4 by 1 will give you 8 raised to b and that is equal to 4. So b you can calculate and that you get as 0.667. So rate is, these points reproduce again, CA, CB rate. So CA raised to 0.5, CB raised to 0.5, K will be rate divided by CA raised to 0.5 into CB raised to 0.667. So K is 111 constant. Okay. So that is 1. So rate law will be minus RA is equal to K is 1, CA raised to 0.5, CB raised to 0.667. Next problem, similar problem, data is changed now. So you can write down again, first point, minus RA 50 is equal to K into 2 raised to A into 125 raised to B. Then 32 is equal to 2 raised to A, 64 raised to B. Third point, 48 is equal to 3 raised to A, 64 raised to B. 1 by 2, 50 by 32, this cancels out, 125 by 64 raised to B and that comes out to be 1.953 raised to B and this 50 by 32 is 1.5625. If you solve this for B, you get B is equal to 0.667. Then 3 by 2, 48 by 32 is 3 by 2 raised to A. 3 by 2 raised to A. So evaluate A is 1.5. No, this is 1.5, 3 by 2 raised to A. So 1.5 raised to A is 1.5. That means A is equal to 1. So same calculations, CA, CB. So CB raised to 0.667, CA raised to 1 is CA. So minus RA by CA into CB raised to 0.667. So this is K value is again approximately 1 in all for all 3 points. So minus RA is equal to CA raised to 1, A is 1, CB raised to 0.667. Next is 2.18 on mechanisms. Show that the following scheme proposed by OG is consistent with and can explain the observed first order decomposition of N2O5. Nitrogen pentoxide. Rate of disappearance of N2O5 is equal to K into concentration of N2O5. First order decomposition of N2O5. First order rate. Which is the proposed scheme? N2O5 gives NO2 plus NO3 star, which is intermediate or activated complex, which is reversible reaction. Then NO3 gives NO star plus O2 with rate constant K3. And then next reaction, NO star plus NO3 star. So this NO star is another intermediate. These two intermediates combine to give you NO2 plus NO3 star. Okay. So we are interested in rate of disappearance or decomposition of N2O5. Rate of disappearance of N2O5, it is in these two reactions. First reversible reaction means K1 concentration of N2O5 minus K2 into concentration of NO2 into concentration of NO3 star. This we have written. This we want to test and it should be consistent with first order decomposition. Now two intermediates are there. So we want to find out the concentrations of these intermediates in terms of measurable quantities. So we will write the net rate of formation for this and then equate this to 0, net rate of formation. So NO3 star is formed by forward reaction, it is disappearing by this reaction, plus sign here, rate of formation. NO3 is formed K1 N2O5 minus K2 NO2 to NO3 star. Then in this reaction K3NO3 star, it is disappearing, so minus sign, minus K3NO3 star. In this reaction also it is disappearing, so minus K4 concentration of NO star into concentration of NO3 star. So this is rate of formation. Similarly, NO star, this also we want to replace concentration of this. So NO star is there in this reaction and in this reaction with the rate constants K3 and K4. So NO star is formed with this K3NO3 star. So this is plus sign formation. Rate of formation of NO star is equal to K3NO3 star minus K4NO star NO3. Formation K3NO star NO is formed here. K4NO star, that is disappearing here. Whereas NO3 is disappearing in both the reactions, so minus sign for K3 and K4. So here plus sign for K3 where it is formed and minus sign for K4 where it is disappearing. So net rate of formation is 0. So I can write K3NO3 star is equal to K4NO star NO3 star. Or you can find out the concentration of NO3 star in terms of NO3. So again it is another unknown, so we prefer this equality and replace that accordingly. Okay, this same equation I am reproducing here. This is plus rate of formation of NO3 star. Okay, so concentration of intermediate NO3 star we can write. So this term containing NO3 star, NO3 star, NO3 star we transfer on this side. So what we get is K2NO2 plus K3 plus K3. So K2NO2 plus K3 means 2K3, and that we bring in the denominator. Numerator is only K1 concentration of N2O5. Rate of disappearance of N2O5 is K1 into concentration of N2O5 minus K2NO2 into NO3 star. So minus K2NO2 here into NO3 star, this complete term I have substituted here. Solve for this. So this is K1 K2 NO2 N2O5, 2 K1 K3 concentration of N2O5 minus K1 K2 NO2 N2O5. These two terms are same with opposite sign, plus and minus, so cancels out. So in numerator I have only 2 K1 K3 into concentration of N2O5. In the denominator K2 concentration of NO2 plus 2 K3. If you apply the condition of K2 very small, K2 is the reverse rate constant, so it will be much smaller than K1. So this is a small quantity. So as compared to this term, this will be negligible. So you neglect this term as an approximation for very small values of K2. You are left with 2 K3 in the denominator. So 2 and K3 will cancel out and you get K1 N2O5. So with this condition of very small value of K2, and that is a valid condition, minus R N2O5 means rate of decomposition of N2O5 is observed to be first order with respect to N2O5, and that is what we were asked to test. Now here next problem 2.19, the decomposition of reactant A at 400 degrees Celsius for pressures between 1 and 10 atmosphere follows a first order rate law. So here we have to show that a mechanism similar to azomethane decomposition, A plus A giving you A star plus A star plus A giving you A plus A, nothing but same reaction reversible written separately. So this is a reversible reaction, and this irreversible spontaneous decomposition A star gives you R plus S is consistent with the observed kinetics. Observed kinetics is first order rate law. Different mechanism can be proposed to explain the first order kinetics. To claim that this mechanism is correct and in face of the other alternatives requires additional evidence. For this purpose, what further experiments would you suggest when we run, which we should run, and what results are expected to find out? So observed rate is first order K1CA, A plus A giving you A star plus A reversible, A star giving you R plus S, this is single irreversible reaction. Rate of disappearance of A is K1 concentration of A square minus K2 concentration of A star into concentration of A. Then rate of formation of A star, again it should be plus rate of formation of A star. It is formed by forward reaction, so plus sign K1CA square disappears by this reverse reaction, so K2 concentration of A star into concentration of A, and it is disappearing by this forward reaction, so minus K3 into concentration of A star. So A star, this net rate equated to 0, okay, and when you equate it to 0, this A star can be written as this K1 A square will be in the numerator, and in denominator you have this K2 into A plus K3 term. You transfer this, signs will change. So concentration of A, what we want is rate of disappearance of A. Rate of disappearance of A, K1 concentration of A square, K2 concentration of A into concentration of A star, and for that we have substituted this K1 into A square by K2A plus K3, same value. Then you solve for this, K1 K2 A into A square into K1 K3 A square, K1 K2 A into A square, this cancels out with plus and minus sign. So you are left with simply K1 K3 concentration of A square in the numerator and K2 concentration of A plus K3 in the denominator. If concentration of A is high, initially you will start with high concentrations. If this is high, this will be negligible, okay, and what you will get, K1 K3 into A square by K2 into A simply. So this K1 K3 divided by K2 we write as new constant K, and this A cancels out with this square term, so concentration of A, that is KCA. So at high concentrations it is KCA. When A is low, very low, so this cancels out and this K3 cancel out and you get K1 into Ca square. So by lowering the concentrations, order will increase from 1 to 2. So reaction of shifting order. So for this, how will you test? What kind of experiments you will perform? So you check at higher concentrations. As the reaction proceeds, the concentration will become low, and you check whether this change, by lowering concentrations from high to low, you find the reaction orders to be changing from 1 to 2. If it is so, your experimental data is valid, and you can say that at higher concentrations this first order rate law is valid. So we will stop here today, and in our next lecture we will continue with the remaining problems from the exercise of chapter 2, and most probably we will be able to cover all the remaining problems from chapter number 2 in our next lecture. So we stop here.